Hey, this is Jim at Broadfield. Thanks for joining us for another Broadfield Liquid Lunch and Learn. This week, we are going to be talking about the brand new NewTek Tricaster Mini. I have Glenn on the show with me. We're going to talk about some of the differences and try to help clarify some of the great new features. And if we're going to do that, we're going to need to crack open a beer. Glenn, you got a beer with you today?
I do.
What are you drinking?
I am drinking Three Nations Devout Imperial Stout. They make a whole series of these Imperial Stouts. This happens to be the horchata one. One they just came out with is the creme brulee, one that I have not tried yet. So I got to finish off this last one so I can go there.
Very nice, very nice. And up here in New York, I have a Mofosaic from Sand City. I've had Sand City beers on the show before. This one is from their single hop series. They do a lot of different blends where a lot of their beers will be a combination of Mosaic, Citra, and other hops. This series is basically just one hop for the brew, and the Mofosaic is obviously the Mosaic hop. The alcohol volume on this one comes in at about 7.2%. How about yours over there? How's that stout?
Haven't even tried it yet, sorry.
All right. Well, cheers.
Cheers. That's good.
Oh, that has some nice color on it. That looks like a really good stout.
It's 8.3.
Nice, not bad.
Yeah, and you get a little bit of that left over. It's a nice stout, then you get a little horchata at the end of it. So
very cool. We'll be going live here in just a few more seconds. Give some of our dealers a chance to join us. And let's get going. So again, for this week's Liquid Lunch, we are going to be introducing the brand new NewTek Tricaster Mini. The Tricaster Mini was announced formally last week. NewTek, prior to that, did do a channel webinar updating all of the NewTek dealers with a lot of the features, specs, and what's new with the Tricaster Mini. We're going to go over some of those features today and help answer some of the questions that we've been fielding from our dealers for the past week. So let's get started by talking to you about the Tricaster Mini. And this brand new Tricaster Mini has both 4K and NDI production capabilities built into it. Glenn, if you could give us just a real quick overview. We don't need to hit all the bullet points on this list, but what are the exciting things that are going to move these Tricaster Minis?
yeah, I think the really big thing is, first off, it is the fact that it is 4K. So that is very powerful. The fact that it can do 4K. I think having a channel of Skype TX now too in the Mini is a phenomenal addition to that. The big thing too is it's really easy to use. I mean, the big thing as we dive into it more is you'll see that it is fully NDI. It has got a 4-port DHCP server / switch kind of built into it, where you can just come in, plug your devices directly in. You don't need to bother with your house network. You don't need to be bothered knowing anything about IP configurations or anything. You just plug your cameras in, you plug your devices in, and you're good to go. It's also got PoE on it, so it'll actually power your devices as long as they're PoE as well. So I think it's just going to be the ease of use. It's also been kind of streamlined a little bit to make it easier to use for people.
And I think one thing that's important to point out is for a system like this to have the 4K NDI production capabilities and the ability to support that channel of Skype TX, obviously there's some upgraded horsepower underneath the hood. And that's one of the things to really keep in mind, is that this truly is the next generation Tricaster Mini, which is going to be up to the task for your customers' live productions. The Tricaster Mini 4K with NDI, I was told, is just shipping today. I was hoping to have one on the table to show off, but they should be in our Broadfield warehouses within the next week. They are rolling out of NewTek as we speak. The new Tricaster Mini is going to have an $89.95 MSRP. This is still going to exist in the product line with the Tricaster Mini Advanced HD4 at $59.95 and the Tricaster Mini Advanced SDI at $99.95. We are going to go over some of the differences between these three models, but let's remain focused on the new Tricaster Mini for another moment. Because in addition to the Tricaster Mini itself, NewTek also announced some great two bundles actually to support this brand new product. Glenn, why don't you give us an overview of these two bundles?
Yeah, sure. So what you've got is you've got the Tricaster Mini that now will come bundled with two input modules that are designed to take HDMI and bring it into the system. They are PoE, so you can plug those again directly into your Ethernet, get power from them, plug your cameras in, and you can bring in 4K video up to 60p.
Let me interrupt you there because I think this is a great point of clarification. The Tricaster Mini a la carte includes these two HDMI bundles. So the product that we just talked about at that $89.95 MSRP, for our NewTek dealers who are familiar with NewTek's a la carte nomenclature, that a la carte system at $89.95 does include two of these HDMI to NDI modules.
Right. Yep.
Perfect.
And then in addition to that, you get the control surface. We'll talk a little bit more about the control surface later on to kind of point out some of the differences, but this is an updated, newer control surface for the TC for the Mini. So you get that control surface. You also get a nice travel case. So again, the beauty of that is you throw some Ethernet cables in the travel case and bring a monitor and you're good to go with just connecting that system in. Then you can step up to the Deluxe Bundle, which now includes everything we mentioned before, except they replace the TC Mini control panel with a full-blown TC1 small panel. So that gives you PTZ control. So you've got additional sets of buttons, but the real big thing that this gives you is full, the joystick for positioning your PTZ cameras. And of course, to make it even better, they throw in two of the NDI HX PTZ cameras. So you've got
Right.
Really the ability to bring in 4 inputs. So this is really the nice system because you've got 2 PTZ cameras. You can have 2 additional cameras coming in through the input modules, and you've got, full control of everything.
So again, on your new price sheets, the Tricaster Mini is available in basically 3 configurations. There's the Tricaster Mini a la carte, which includes those 2 HDMI modules at $89.95 MSRP. There's the Tricaster Mini bundle that includes the Tricaster Mini, the 2 HDMI modules, the control surface, and the travel case for $11,495. And then there's that Deluxe Bundle that Glenn just talked about. You're swapping out the Tricaster Mini control surface for the TC1 SP, the small control panel, which gives you the PTZ camera control, which is an important feature in this bundle because it includes 2 of NewTek's NDI HX PTZ cameras. Now, with that bundle, there is no travel case included because there is no travel case that's going to fit the Tricaster Mini plus these 2 cameras. So there, in lieu of the travel case, you're getting that TC1 upgraded control panel and those 2 cameras, and that comes in at just under $20,000. Very affordable, complete setups, whether you're going with the a la carte, the basic bundle, or the Deluxe Bundle along the way. So what's new in this Tricaster Mini? Let's run down the bullets. Obviously, Glenn, the first thing you mentioned is the 4K UHD capability. Next is the 8 NDI sources with 4 direct external inputs. In plain English, Glenn, what does that mean?
Means there is no HDMI or SDI inputs on this thing. Everything that is coming in is going to come in over NDI. Very radical, very different, but I think there's a certain customer out there that is going to be perfect for,
Yep.
Especially new customers that are setting up. It's going to be a really good solution for them.
Absolutely. And what you'll see is when you flip that thing, and we'll go into the little hookup diagram on the unit itself and showing the back panel, you'll see that NDI router or network connections are built in right into this Tricaster Mini itself. We've already talked about the addition of the Skype TX, as well as a 1 terabyte SSD storage drive, and a lot more horsepower under the hood. Now, that's what's new. It's important to understand, though, that this new Tricaster Mini is not just a refresh of the Tricaster Mini Advanced HD4 or Tricaster Mini Advanced SDI. There are some differences with this new model, and we've kind of broken that down for you here just a little bit. Starting with the graphics and DDR players. These have been merged to create a more simplified user interface. This is NewTek listening to your feedback. You've been telling them, as NewTek dealers, that you want a system that your customers can get up and going and get started with more quickly and more easily than ever. They're giving you that with this new generation Tricaster Mini. The H.264 recording now creates an NDI in a QuickTime file. So it's an NDI video with a QuickTime.mov wrapper. Now, Glenn, what are some of the other differences between this new Tricaster Mini that are different than the old Tricaster Mini or the Tricaster Mini, I shouldn't say old, I should say Tricaster Mini HD4 or SDI, which are still going to be current products, they're just different from this next generation.
Yeah, so keep in mind the whole goal here is to kind of simplify the product. So, there's no macro support. These users aren't going to go in and build macros for, heavy duty work. There is no audio routing, no waveform and vector scope, again, because everything's coming in NDI anyways.
Sure.
A couple of the other things, again, like you mentioned, is the DDR and graphics have been merged, and within there you don't have the pages. So it's not like you're going to have multiple pages of graphics, multiple pages of DDR. It's two DDR still, but it's only one page for there. There is also no built-in monitor in this unit, so that's one of the things that is helping with the price on that. But you don't need a monitor. You're going to watch everything either through a stream. And I want to go back to one other thing really quick. Two things that you missed on the what's new that I think are also important, and I kind of missed those two. Is this unit can stream to two sources. So the previous minis could only do one source. You could only do Facebook Live or YouTube, but you can do two with this. And there's additional social media integration, so you can start getting some of your posts and things like that embedded into your streams as well. So I just wanted to come back to that. But again, the whole goal is to really simplify it and remove some of the extra complexity that these folks aren't using anyways.
And I think those are just more symptoms of having more horsepower under the hood. The more horsepower you throw into that box, obviously the more features, capabilities, simultaneous streams, and other things that you're able to do with the system. It's also important to note that the Tricaster Mini at $89.95 is now not too far off from the Tricaster 410 Plus, which is at $99.95 MSRP, or the TC1 that comes in at a $14.95 MSRP. So for the more advanced customers that do need some of those additional capabilities, we have a nice little comparison chart here that shows you when to step them up that product family and find the right Tricaster that works for them. Glenn, you want to give us a couple of highlights on some of these comparisons?
Yeah, I think you mentioned it. It's very close to the price of the TC, the 410 Plus.
Full screen.
The big things are you're up on channels, so you've got your 8 inputs, you've got your one channel Skype TX, you've got two outputs at 4K UHD. So that's really it. I mean, that's very comparable. I mean, it's a really nice step up as far as performance, and it's really it's going to be a good one to kind of compare. Do you want this or you want the 410 Plus? I think it's also just going to come down to, in the case of the Mini, is going to be really who is the target customer. Do they need that added complexity that you're going to get when you step into the 410?
And the other thing I think too is I think it makes the form factor itself more interesting. Now you can get a more robust production system in that Tricaster Mini form factor for something that you can throw into a travel case and bring on location in the shoot. Here is that system connectivity diagram I was talking to you about. We have a nice little diagram showing you those gigabit Ethernet network adapter ports on the back of it, as well as that NDI to HDMI module, two of which are going to be included with every Tricaster Mini. Glenn, anything else that you want to highlight on this here?
Yeah, it's so again, it's important to note too that you've also got now 4 mini display ports out, so you can actually have up to 3 multi-viewers going with the system as well. So you've got an additional multi-viewer, which is different from the other minis, which only have 2. This one will have 3. Again, the beauty of this, the nice thing about this is, okay, let's think about what you're going to do here. So we're going to be somewhere where maybe we're doing a football game, maybe we're doing a school production or something like that. We're going to plug in our cameras into the one of the 4 or all the 4 ports that are part of that add-in card. Then we're going to plug into the house network to do our stream. So basically, the beauty of that is you come in, you plug in your cameras, your NDI devices into the network jack, you plug your mini into the house jack, and you're capturing video and you're streaming and you're up and running.
And the other thing I want to point out here too is that the HDMI input module has HDMI loop through. You'll see 2 HDMI connections here. So if you have an application where maybe you want to take one fixed camera and have that drive the iMag, you can loop that through right the input module itself and still have that NDI feed going back to the Tricaster Mini over the network. And here we are talking more about these HDMI input modules. Let's start by talking about what it is not. It is not a Connect Spark, Spark Plus, or Spark Pro. This HDMI input module is a brand new module built and created for use by NewTek with this Tricaster Mini. That means it has the HDMI to NDI capability. It has that HDMI loop through that I talked about, but it also has support for 4K P60. If you need additional inputs, there we recommend the NewTek Connect Spark Pro. Glenn, why the Spark Pro as opposed to any NDI adapter?
Well, first off, it's going to be one of the few that is native NDI, so it's not doing NDI HX, it's doing full NDI. You're going to get that full capability, and it's very comparable to the input modules. It's just going to be capable of doing that much more, and it's that much more robust.
Right, and also you're getting that 4K support. Again, if you're going to have those input modules feeding the 4K signal, to add a regular Connect Spark with NDI HX with HD video, it's always best to have all your inputs with the same resolution. Now, the other change with the Tricaster Mini is now an upgraded control panel. So on the price sheet, there actually is a brand new part number for the Tricaster Mini control surface. And there are some differences where NewTek has upgraded this control panel. Glenn, I know you did some of this research with NewTek. What exactly are these differences?
Yeah, so really it's stuff that should have come for a while. First off, the Net 1 and Net 2 are gone. So basically, if you click, I think you can change it. Basically, you now have got full 8 inputs. Okay. So previously with the Tricaster Mini, you really only had buttons that were at least labeled for your first 4 inputs. Now you've got a full 8 inputs. Because DDR and graphics have been merged.
Glenn, hold on one second. While you're talking about this, I want to pull this slide up full screen, because when it flashes back and forth, the changes look subtle, but really what you have here is a button difference. So you mentioned the Net 1, the Net 2. This would be the old button layout on that Tricaster Mini control surface.
Correct.
And then if I toggle here you see 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to input 8 that you were referring to.
Right.
So again, we got old, 1, 2, we'll give it a couple seconds to digest, and here's the new layout. Excellent. Sorry to interrupt with that.
Oh, no, that's fine. And that's really what it is. It's just, it's the layout that makes sense. I think the biggest thing is, for all of us to get used to is that, DDRs and graphics were 2 separate things in this world. They're all going in the same spot, so they're going to be treated the same. And again, that's why we lose buttons. But I think it's a smart improvement for people that don't come from a national full-time switching production environment. But it's just something we've got to get used to because it's very different from the way all the other Tricaster family works.
Absolutely. And then, we should mention also, like we did in the bundle, the TC1 small control panel is also a nice fit with the Tricaster Mini if you need that PTZ control capability with the joystick integrated to the control panel itself. Also, we obviously, Glenn, always have you as a resource for all of our dealers, as well as the entire Broadfield sales team. We've also worked closely with NewTek to put together a dealer demo pool on these new Tricaster Minis. So demo units are available. Call Glenn, call your Broadfield sales rep, and we can work with you on pricing for that. We can also work with you from our in-house eval inventory if you just need a temporary loaner to help close the sale or to even train your sales team on this brand new Tricaster Mini. Glenn, this was another point that you clarified for me quite a bit, and that's the difference between adding ProTech support for the Tricaster Mini, premium access for the Tricaster Mini, or taking advantage of NewTek's bundle that includes both. Break it down for us.
Yeah, so first off, right out of the bat, just so you know, that the TC Mini will ship with 6 months of premium access for free. So, NewTek is very up on getting people to understand premium access, get into the subscription program mindset and things like that. So they're kind of giving you a try before you buy, and hopefully people love all the features and they get a subscription. But what they've also done too is obviously, you can add ProTech to your Tricaster Mini. That's, $13,995 MSRP. But they put together a bundle where you can, and that's 2 years of the initial coverage. So that's a new support contract. They put together a bundle that includes ProTech and premium access, and that's $2,295 for the initial first 2 years. And that is a huge savings. You're basically getting, support and 2 years of premium access for less than the price of a single year premium access subscription.
Yeah, that's a great value. That's a no-brainer. And it's great too because NewTek really wants their dealers to be offering the ProTech Care and premium access. And that's going to further invest your customers into this kind of NewTek world to take advantage of features like Live Panel and the other great features that premium access offers. Glenn, I think that's it for our presentation today. You have anything else to add about the Tricaster Mini?
No, it's, the one thing is, hit me up if you have questions. I've been talking with the NewTek folks. This is so new. We're all kind of trying to learn everything we can about it. I still have a laundry list of unanswered questions from them, and they've got the same questions. So it's a great, it's a great new product. I think it's I think we built, it's build it, they will come type thing. I think there are some customers that this is ideal for. Is it ideal for every one of your customers? No, but I think there's certain folks that this is just going to be a home run for, and it's going to solve so many headaches. And I think it also gives us all an opportunity to sell a lot more things into that NDI infrastructure too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're really excited about the Tricaster Mini. I'm sure a lot more of these questions will be answered once these units do arrive in stock. They're being shipped out of Texas today. We'll have them here in the Broadfield warehouses sometime next week. I know we're going to be excited to rip a box open and get one set up and bang on a little bit and just see how far we can push this exciting new system. There's a lot of horsepower under the hood, so it'll be interesting to see what all it can do. Glenn, thanks for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of your beer.
Cheers.
And coming up, we got a great show planned for you. I've got guests lined up with a new product launch next Thursday, November 21st. The guys from Simply Live are going to be in to show off their brand new varsity bundles. The following week, I will be home getting fat on turkey and drinking some more of these beers, so there will be no show for Thanksgiving Day. December 5th, we will be back with December news and promos, and then we will have Dan Mile from Bird Dog joining us on December 12th, talking about all of their products with a lot of this stuff shipping now. The brand new A200 camera is now shipping. Call your Broadfield salesperson. We've got the A200, the P100, and the P200 now, with more new products being released from Bird Dog. So reach out to your Broadfield salesperson at 800-634-5178 and join us every Thursday at 1 p.m. Until next week, cheers.
Broadfield Distributing is a value-added distributor of live production, streaming, video editing, and storage products. We only sell to resellers. We are always looking for new dealers. So call us at 1-800-634-5178 or email sales@broadfield.com. You'll like doing business with Broadfield because we make it easy to do business.